Pain and shame and secrecy and silence will lead you down one dead-end street after another. I grew up in Stillwater, and I lived at a lake community. All the kids went down to the dam area and fished and skipped rocks. It was a perfect place to grow up, or so it seemed at least.
At the age, I'm sorry, this is so hard. You were 7.
Yeah.
And he started abusing you.
Yep.
Until you were 12.
Right.
Clark Fredericks was a typical kid looking forward to summer camp and Boy Scouts. But when Clark was just 7 years old, his joy and childhood were robbed when he says a family friend, a Boy Scout leader, Dennis Pegg, began sexually abusing him and continued over 5 years.
It was the most horrific experience you can imagine in your life. He was behind me. He had me in a bear hug. I couldn't move. It was like being in a straitjacket. And this animal is raping me.
For decades, Clark Fredericks remained silent about his abuse, suppressing the shame with various drugs and alcohol.
One drug on its own wasn't enough to numb me. I'm doing cocaine, pain pills, heroin, Xanax, bottles of vodka every day.
So you are destroying yourself.
I was happy to be destroying myself. I was content to kill myself.
30 years later, he ran into Peg at a deli in town.
Trailing in right behind him was a young boy about the age he raped me, calling him the same nickname Dennis had insisted I call him.
On June 12, 2012, Clark Fredericks drove to the home of Dennis Pegg and stabbed him multiple times to death.
To murder someone, I had to be completely broken. I had to get down to like an animal stage.
Arrested and charged with first-degree murder, Fredericks detailed his abuse in court. Other victims came forward, and in 2015 he pled guilty to a lesser charge, second-degree passion provocation manslaughter. He was sentenced to 5 years. Today, his life is a bit different. He's working with legislators and sharing his story through public speaking engagements.
Some victims of sexual assault feel embarrassed and are too scared to speak up. Others fear no one will believe them or think that asking for help will show their weakness. Clark's story is a unique story that shows the exact opposite of these fears and demonstrates the importance of reaching out.
Statistics say 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys before the age of 18 will face some form of sexual abuse. I carried abuse through these halls from 7th grade onward. My story isn't solely about molestation. My story is about digging deep within, finding your inspiration, unharnessing it, and rising to great heights. It took me getting broken to my knees, suicidal, wanting to die, before I finally developed faith and belief. I don't care if you want to call God, creator, source, love, light, universe. You have to have faith in a higher power. You don't go through what I've been through and not learn anything. So I want to share 6 life lessons that I've learned throughout this process. I don't ever want any of you or any student to ever have a June the 12th or a 13th or a 14th. That's why I do what I do, to speak, to redirect people down a different path. I did everything wrong. I have regrets throughout my life. I was a broken individual with no boundaries left in life. It doesn't have to be that way. Opening up, becoming transparent, remember those life lessons, and healing will take your life in a new direction.
I believe 100% in what he's doing right now. This mission, this cause, sharing his past, his experience, and his pain, so that maybe somebody else doesn't get that pain, doesn't experience the trauma or the abuse, let alone maybe someday, as he says, has their own June 12th where they act out. And I'm with him 100%. Listen, I arrested him. I helped prosecute him. I put him in prison. But I'm proud to be standing here right next to him.
Thank you.